from Ottawa is Eleanor Olszewski, Federal Minister of Emergency Management and Community Resilience. Thanks for being with us today, Minister.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Why don't you start off by telling us where the situation stands in the Fraser Valley?
The situation at the present time is that really local and provincial authorities have been able to manage things as they are going on at the present time. In other words, we haven't had a request for federal assistance from the province up to this point in time. So that's certainly an optimistic sign.
But you do have angry mayors on your hand, most notably from the two largest cities in the Fraser Valley, both Chilliwack and Abbotsford. Abbotsford's mayor, Ross Siemens, was incredibly vocal on Friday, where he says we don't need lip service from the federal government anymore. We don't need more phone calls. What we need is action. After the 2021 floods, they put forth a highly detailed flood mitigation plan that they say the federal government didn't live up to its promises in flooding. What do you say to that as the minister responsible?
Do you know, I really can't speak to what happened in 2021, but I can tell you that from the perspective of resilience, that's something that our new government is absolutely focused on. And in terms of how the Lower Mainland, the Fraser Valley will be able to recover from this year's flooding incidents, there are two different ways that we have federal programming available. And the first is really through Budget 2025, and it provides infrastructure streams that will really help the people of the Fraser Valley in terms of rebuilding and building back better. In addition to that, there is a disaster relief fund. It's funding available to the province, and people in British Columbia that are affected by these floods will be able to apply to recover. They'll be able to apply. It's actually the provincial government that does this, and the government applies for direct funding to communities and other losses that it's experienced, and then the federal government can consider those expenses and reimburse the province. And the way that works this time around is that the DFAA was actually updated and modernized so that there is a lot more additional funding available for resilience and adaptation. So I think we'll find this time around we'll be able to do a much better job of getting appropriate mitigation funding to the province of BC.
How much funding are we talking about? Because by some estimates, the flood mitigation plan that was put forth not that many years ago following the 2021 floods was valued at over $1 billion. Are you supposing that there's that much money being put forth by the feds?
Yeah, that is certainly my understanding based on my discussions with Mayor Siemens, who is, of course, the Abbotsford mayor, and I had a chat with him late Friday afternoon, and that seemed to be the level of funding that he was seeking. But in addition to that, as I say, there is the DFAA, or Disaster Funding Relief, monies available to the province to compensate the province for amounts they've spent in terms of reimbursing their own communities and their citizens. And so there's really, as I say, two different funding streams that I really think will be of great benefit to residents of British Columbia.
Two of the main pillars of that flood mitigation plan was upgrading the dike system and also a new pump station along the Sumas River. Do you have any indication that those are going to happen?
I can tell you that on the ground at the present time, the people that we're communicating with, certainly I am and my department officials are as well, are basically the provincial authorities as well as local officials. And then my department is also monitoring the situation as it develops on the ground in the Fraser Valley and Lower Mainland. And we're also having ongoing discussions with some other government departments, and that includes Transport Canada and Indigenous Services Canada, and as well as CFIA, because we want to be able to pre-position individuals or perhaps things such as sandbagging, so that we're able to deal with and know what we're facing in advance of being needed. Really what we're trying to do is be proactive instead of reactive. So we're already looking at pre-positioning at this time.
Minister Olszewski, a very busy time for you, so we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule for us.